Welcome. As the days grow shorter and the air turns crisp, you might wonder, what really drives the wild swings in our winter weather? The answer lies high above us, in a powerful force that shapes the season for millions: the polar vortex. Today, we're diving into the polar vortex, Earth's winter weather engine. This vast, spinning system of icy air circles the Arctic, acting as a kind of atmospheric gatekeeper. It's a phenomenon that meteorologists watch closely, because its behavior can mean the difference between a gentle winter and a season of extremes. The polar vortex isn't a sci-fi monster, but it is a swirling mass of frigid air spinning high above the North Pole, sometimes reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour. It forms a kind of invisible barrier, trapping the coldest air in the far north and keeping it from spilling south. When the vortex is strong and stable, it locks that icy air up north, far from cities like London, Paris, or Berlin. This means Europe often experiences milder, wetter winters, with more rain than snow and temperatures that rarely plunge to dangerous lows. But when the polar vortex weakens, as it is right now, things get interesting. The once stable vortex starts to wobble, sending tendrils of cold air southward. This shift can unleash Arctic blasts across North America, Europe, and Asia, catching millions off guard. That's when we get dramatic cold snaps, sudden blizzards, and heavy snow that can blanket entire cities. Streets that were wet and gray one day can be buried under a foot of snow the next, as the polar vortex releases its icy grip. In many ways, the polar vortex is the master switch for our winter, controlling whether we get mild drizzle, freezing rain, or bone-chilling cold. Its influence stretches across continents, shaping the daily lives of millions, from farmers to city dwellers. Right now, as of late November 2025, meteorologists are seeing the polar vortex behave in ways we haven't witnessed in nearly a century. Unusual patterns in the upper atmosphere are causing the vortex to split and meander, making forecasts more challenging than ever. This sets the stage for a winter full of surprises, one where the weather can swing from calm to chaotic in a matter of days. We could see record-breaking cold, unexpected snowstorms, or even stretches of unseasonable warmth, all thanks to the polar vortex's unpredictable dance. So, as we watch the snow clouds gather and the winds shift, remember, the story of winter is written high above us in the swirling currents of the polar vortex. Let's see what happens next. The polar vortex isn't just weak, it's at record-breaking lows, shattering expectations for this time of year. High above the Arctic, the stratospheric winds that usually whip around the pole have slowed to a near standstill, leaving meteorologists stunned. This isn't just a minor blip in the data, it's a dramatic shift in the very engine that helps drive our winter weather. Zonal wind speeds in the stratosphere have nearly stalled, the weakest for this time of year in over 80 years. These winds, which typically circle the pole at breakneck speeds, are now barely moving, creating a rare and fragile state in the upper atmosphere. For decades, scientists have tracked these winds as a key indicator of winter's intensity, and what we're seeing now is truly unprecedented. This surpasses the previous record from 1996, a year remembered for wild winter weather. That winter brought blizzards, ice storms, and chaos across continents. Now, with the vortex even weaker, the potential for extreme and unpredictable weather is even greater. The echoes of 1996 remind us just how disruptive a weakened vortex can be. The vortex is sputtering, and forecasters are on high alert. In weather centers around the world, experts are poring over data, searching for clues about what might come next. Every new satellite image and wind speed reading is scrutinized, as the atmosphere teeters on the edge of dramatic change. What's causing this? Powerful weather systems below are sending energy, Rossby waves, upward, disrupting the vortex's spin. These waves, generated by massive storms and shifting jet streams, act like invisible hands, pushing and pulling at the vortex until its once stable flow becomes chaotic and unpredictable. It's like tossing a rock into a whirlpool. Chaos follows. The once smooth rotation of the polar vortex is now turbulent, with eddies and swirls forming where there should be order. This disruption can send ripples through the atmosphere, affecting weather patterns thousands of miles away. As a result, forecast models are struggling to keep up. The usual patterns have been thrown out the window, and uncertainty is higher than ever. Meteorologists are debating possible scenarios, from sudden warming events to unexpected cold snaps, knowing that the atmosphere is primed for a shake-up. Forecast models are struggling, uncertainty is high, and the atmosphere is primed for a shake-up. The stakes are high, as even small changes in the stratosphere can cascade into major weather events at the surface. This kind of stratospheric turmoil often signals something big is coming. When the polar vortex is this unstable, it can unleash a chain reaction, sending frigid air plunging south, or triggering storms in places that least expect them. And that something could flip our winter upside down. Whether it means record cold, surprise snowstorms, or wild temperature swings, one thing is certain: the atmosphere is on the brink of a dramatic transformation, and we're all along for the ride. Enter sudden stratospheric warming, SSW, the meteorological main event. This phenomenon is one of the most dramatic and influential events in the world of weather, and it all begins high above our heads, in the stratosphere over the Arctic. Here, the atmosphere can suddenly flip from its usual state, setting off a chain reaction that can impact weather patterns thousands of kilometers away. SSWs are rare, but when they happen, they can rewrite the script for an entire season. Forecasts now point to a major warming. Stratospheric winds over the pole are about to reverse direction. Normally, these winds whip around the pole from west to east, forming a tight cold vortex that keeps frigid air locked in the Arctic. But when SSW strikes, those winds slow, stop, and then astonishingly, begin to blow the other way. This reversal is like flipping a switch in the upper atmosphere, and it signals that big changes are on the way. Temperatures up there can soar by 50 in just a few days, a staggering jump that disrupts the jet stream below. This sudden warming isn't just a blip, it's a powerful force that can ripple downward, disturbing the balance of the entire atmosphere. The jet stream, which usually flows smoothly from west to east, can become wavy and erratic, opening the door for extreme weather events. This can block the usual west to east flow, letting frigid air from Siberia surge into Europe. The cold, dense air that's normally trapped far to the north is suddenly unleashed, spilling southward and westward. As a result, countries across Europe can experience a dramatic drop in temperatures with icy winds and heavy snowfall sweeping across the continent. It's the classic beast from the east setup. When the polar vortex weakens and splits, it can send a blast of Siberian air barreling into cities that are usually shielded from such extremes. Streets that were recently mild can be transformed overnight into winter wonderlands, or for some, winter nightmares, complete with blizzards, icy roads, and biting winds. An SSW doesn't guarantee a deep freeze everywhere, but it makes a cold, snowy winter much more likely. The effects can vary from place to place. Some regions may see relentless snow and ice, while others might just get a brief taste of winter's fury. But the odds of a significant cold snap go up dramatically, and communities need to be ready for whatever the atmosphere delivers. The coming major warming is the first step toward a possible severe winter by mid-December. Meteorologists are watching closely, tracking every shift in the stratosphere and every wobble in the jet stream. If the pattern holds, we could be looking at a winter that's colder and snowier than anything we've seen in years, with impacts stretching from the UK to Eastern Europe and beyond. The atmosphere is about to change dramatically. What was once a stable, predictable pattern is now on the verge of upheaval. Storms may become more frequent, temperatures more volatile, and the weather more unpredictable than ever. For scientists, it's a fascinating display of nature's power. For everyone else, it's a reminder to stay alert and prepared. Are we ready for the flip? As the stratosphere warms and the polar vortex weakens, the stage is set for a winter that could test our resilience. Whether it brings snow days, travel chaos, or simply a new appreciation for the forces that shape our climate, one thing is certain: the great reversal is underway, and its effects will be felt far and wide. While the stratosphere stirs, Germany faces a different threat: storms. Early December models show a powerful low-pressure tandem over the North Sea, targeting Central Europe. Expect damaging hurricane-force gusts and widespread disruption around December 5th and 6th. A battleground of air masses, mild Atlantic air versus lingering cold, fuels these storms. The result? A volatile, stormy start to December. Not snow and ice, yet. The weakened vortex means more chaos, not instant cold. Germany, especially the west and south, should prepare for turbulent days ahead. The first storm hits southwestern Germany on December 5th. Regions like Rhineland-Palatinate and North Rhine-Westphalia could see hurricane-force winds up to 120 km/h. These winds can cause major damage and travel chaos right at the start of the festive season. The storm's power comes from a deep jet stream trough, rapidly intensifying the system over the North Sea. The exact track matters, but a wide area will feel the impact. Residents should secure property and reconsider travel plans. This is a serious threat. Stay alert. As the first storm passes, a second, called a Schnellläufer, or fast runner, follows on December 6th. This compact, fast-moving storm targets southern Germany, especially Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria. Gusts could again reach 120 km/h, with little time to prepare. Schnellläufers are unpredictable. A small shift in track can change everything. The 1-2 punch of these storms could bring widespread disruption. The volatile jet stream is fueling this extreme weather. For now, the focus is on wind and safety before winter's cold arrives. Even before the storms, winter's presence is felt. A recent low brought surprise snow to eastern and southeastern Germany, Leipzig, the Ore Mountains, Thuringia, and Bavaria. This snow was a fringe effect, showing how sensitive the weather is to small shifts. A sharp temperature divide persists. Southeast Germany is frosty, while the northwest is mild. It's a classic battle between cold continental and mild Atlantic air. The storms will temporarily push milder air across the country. But the real story is what happens after, when the stratosphere's influence kicks in. The stage is set for bigger changes. Looking ahead, models hint at a major pattern shift around December 10th or 11th. A massive high-pressure bridge could form, linking the Azores High and a Siberian high over Scandinavia and Russia. This would block Atlantic air and open the door for Arctic cold to sweep into Europe. It's the classic setup for a deep, sustained cold spell, freezing temperatures and widespread snow. While not guaranteed, this scenario is increasingly plausible, given the stratospheric disruption. If it happens, winter could arrive in full force, just in time for the holidays. All eyes are on the models. So, what's next? Extreme unpredictability. The polar vortex and SSW have thrown the rulebook out. Expect rapid swings from storms to deep cold. First, brace for severe storms in Germany on December 5th and 6th. Then, watch for signs of a high-pressure block forming over Scandinavia. If that happens, a major cold spell could follow. Stay informed, stay flexible, and be ready for anything. This December is no ordinary month. The atmosphere is primed for high-impact weather. Buckle up. Winter's wild ride is just beginning.